Hello, everybody, and welcome to Discover Your Real Estate Career. And this is Joe Lenz reporting to you live. So today's topic is how the media reports real estate news. And, the unfortunate thing is they report the closings. And a lot of the closings, well, not a lot, but the closings originated 30, 60, 90 days prior to, which means you're getting, 30, 60, 90-day-old news. So it's not like the stock market to where you can get into the stock market and you can see that on a minute by minute basis on what that market's doing. Real estate doesn't get reported the same way. So it makes it really hard to make an informed decision as a buyer and a seller. And this is one of the many reasons that you need a realtor who is active in the market. Now, there's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. And just quickly, a realtor is part of the National Association of Realtors, the California Association of Realtors, and also our local Association of Realtors. And they have access to the latest and greatest of what's going on in the marketplace. We gather information as it happens. And we're very active in the marketplace, which makes a huge difference when it comes to you and you being able to make an informed decision that really is good for you and your family. So the first thing we do is we gather information as it happens, and we do that through new listings that are coming on the market, pending sales, and closed sales. So why is the current data so dang important to everybody? Well, for sellers, you got to know what your plans and goals are. So if you're looking at something 30 days old or 90 days old, and it's closing, this past week, that's a good barometer of where you want to be on a like-for-like property, right? Well, in the meantime, there may be 2 or 3 others that have come on the market and are now pending at a different price, different strategy. And you may want to take those, you really do need to take those into consideration as you go. So the news isn't able to report that because they don't have really good access to that, and they don't seem to be interested in those pending transactions and the immediate closings. And they're, like I said, if they're reporting on December sales, shoot, those went on in October, November. So that's a long time ago. The other thing for a seller that you really need to take into consideration is, are you going to be moving up, down, or out of the area? And all 3 of those or something else is important to making your decision and making an informed decision and timing your entrance into the marketplace in the best way that you can. For buyers, you need to have plans and goals. And also that applies to sellers as well. But, why is it important? And it's really important so that you can really stay focused on what you're trying to achieve in your real estate. And I'll call it a portfolio, even though I don't consider home ownership to be an investment, because you got to have a place to live and you're paying rent, whether you're paying your own mortgage or your landlord's mortgage. You're still got to do that. So I think you're better off paying your own mortgage, for sure. So the next thing is that if you are a buyer, now let's just say, for example, if you're a first-time buyer, okay, now you got a gazillion questions that you want to ask, and the best thing you can do is to meet with a realtor, and then you got to discuss your plans and your goals. The next thing you want to do is find out and meet with a lender who is referred to you by that realtor. Now, why is it important to be working with someone who is part of that professional realtor's team? Because, he or she, your realtor, has confidence in that lender and to be able to provide you with good quality strategy and lending advice and the different loan programs that are available and how to qualify for those loans and what you need. Now, you may be a year or 2 out as well. For example, we were working with a buyer 6 months ago, and they were a first-time buyer. And they got into the market. They were excited. They were able to purchase the home of their dreams that they never thought they'd be able to buy it. And how did they accomplish that as a first-time buyer? Well, they saved their money, and you got to start where you're at. So they did. They were leasing. They were renting. They saved their money. They came in with a really good quality down payment, and they're happy as clams. And they now live in a home that they own. But they rented for 5 years. Now, is that a long time? One of them was a police officer. The other one was a school teacher. So I think that that's important to be able to plan. And they worked a plan, and they worked very well, and they were disciplined when it came to that. The next thing is for buyers, your realtor can set you up on what's called a listing alert. Now, I know everybody has some of these aggregate sites that they can go to, but again, some of those sites aren't always current data. They're getting it secondhand. And a realtor can set that up to where they are part of the multiple listing service. So there are rules that we got to adhere to as realtors. When we take a listing, we need to put it in there. So it's current data. So when you're getting that current data coming at you as a prospective buyer, you're able to make better decisions and really keep an eye on what's going on in the marketplace in that specific little area that you're looking at. So, you can explain to your realtor what area that you're looking at, what type of home you're looking at, what price range you're looking at. And, again, we all need to start with where we're at. And you can't, all of a sudden, well, I want to buy a home for, $5 million. Well, that's great if you're at that position. But if you're at a 500,000 position, then you need to start with that 500,000, and you'll grow from there as you go through home ownership. As a renter, it's really hard to catch up with that. It's, the appreciation cycles. It's important that you stay in part of that. And as a renter, it's really, you're not gathering equity along the way. Now, what about interest rates? Everybody's got an opinion. However, they're opinions. So I think it's important to note, again, that you're going to start with where you are. So interest rates are, like, for example, today, they're in the 5.5% to 6% range. Which is, in my opinion, they're not bad. That's it. It's where it is. So the other thing is if you can lock in a price now that you can afford and you qualify for, now you're into a residence and that home is appreciating, and that's all great news. Now let's say we get lucky again and interest rates go down to 4 or 3. You can always re-mortgage your home, refinance, and get rid of the 6% and bring on that and take advantage of that 4% rate or whatever the lower rate is. You can always do that. So that's an option for you. But keep in mind, as rates go down, prices will always go up. So you want to be on the ownership side of that as that happens. So the next thing is, and I spoke a little earlier about affording it versus qualifying. You may be able to qualify for a $3,000 home, or well, that's crazy. You may be able to qualify for like a $3,000 a month payment. But as individuals, you may say, well, you know what, I want to cap it at 25. That's what I can afford. I can afford, my budget can afford $2,500, and that's where I am comfortable. And that's fine. And as long as we start communicating that with the realtor, now the realtor can work backwards into that price. And now we're looking at properties that you are within your budget, within what you qualify for, what the lender has qualified you for, and you now have a plan of action. So the next thing is what's going on in the marketplace. People are still buying and selling. I mean, it's always happening. And regardless of what the market is doing, people are taking advantage of the marketplace and buying or selling real estate. A few of the latest examples I've got for you is just in the past week. Here we are in the middle of February, and in January, all of a sudden somebody flipped the switch again, and buyers started making offers, and transactions started going together at a much more rapid pace. Then we had one house that was listed, and son of a gun, we had gee, at Christmas, I think there was at least 100 people came through the open house. We ended up with about 15 offers. All right, so it's still existing out there, and people are still buying, people are still selling. Days on the market are going up a little bit. Now, in that particular case, it was 5 days on the market at best. But, days on the market, so don't let that discourage you as a seller, but also don't let that discourage you as a buyer and say, gosh, what's wrong? How come that property's been on the market for 30 days? Well, it's been waiting for you to come along and buy them. And that's the perfect house for you. Maybe not, but the point is that don't let days on market discourage you in looking at property. So, final words, just to wrap things up for this episode, is we all need to stay current with our real estate news, and that can be done again through a good realtor who is on top of his game. The next thing you need to do is find and keep a trusted advisor who is an informed realtor. So, trusted advisor is key. And you want to think about that person as you would any other professional in your life. If you've got an accountant, if you've got your investment counselor, your real estate agent falls right into that category with you as that person who can really assist you and give you good quality information so that you can make a decision that's really best for you, and that's really important. So, Century 21 Discovery is a great place for you to find that person as well. So if you're looking, and you can always find them right here. Now, you want to meet with that person, meet with your realtor, and discuss your expectations, what your goals are, and see if it's a good match. And just like any other person you bring into your life, you want to make sure it's a great match. So set your home ownership goals, visit them regularly, stay focused, start where you're at, and you'll be happy you did 30, 40, 50 years from now. Have a great day. Charge on.